This is an ad by BetterHelp. Men today face immense pressure to perform, to provide, and keep it all together. So it's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it's often undiagnosed. It's okay to struggle. Real strength comes from opening up about what you're carrying and doing something about it so you can be at your best for yourself and everyone in your life. I've obviously been going through a lot, with my personal life, with my marriage, with my mental health. BetterHelp has helped me tremendously. I strongly suggest, guys, that you check them out, especially a guy like me who has refused to get help for so long, and I finally let myself get a little bit of help, and BetterHelp has been... I can't speak enough about them. With over 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapists at any time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/JaxTaylor. That's BetterHelp.com/JaxTaylor. All right, guys, welcome back to In the Mind of Jax Taylor. All right, guys, today we have someone you definitely sang along with in your car in the early 2000s. And honestly, if you're a millennial, you probably still do, because I know I do. He's a platinum-selling singer, songwriter, a total legend from the pop rock era, and an all-around great dude. You know him from hits like On the Way Down and songs that pretty much defined a lot of people's generation, all my friends' generation. He's also a father and a husband to WWE superstar Alexa Bliss, and a guy who's managed to stay grounded and cool through the decades in this crazy, crazy industry. Let's welcome my friend, Ryan Cabrera. How you doing, buddy?
That was quite the intro.
Thank you.
You've done this before.
I have. Wait, I'm looking at your house right now for a second. Is it Christmas at your house? I mean, look at that.
Oh, it's always Christmas.
Look at the garland, beautiful garland. Are you in a studio? I feel like, are you on a set?
No. The stuff so this is the stuff that's just always, so I always have a Christmas tree up year round. I always have since I had ever bought my first house.
Are you serious?
And then when I met my wife and we finally bought our first house together, I was like, oh my gosh, we're figuring out what we're going to get rid of. And I'm like, what do I do with this? She's like, but you're going to put the Christmas tree up, right? Isn't that your thing? You keep it up year round. I was like, I can do that still?
I was just going to say, so it's like
this stuff is just too hard to sit down.
It's awesome. It's like having a recliner in your house, right? Like, how am I going to get this recliner into the house with the new wife?
Statistics say that people who put their Christmas tree up early are like 70% happier. So what if you just keep it up year round?
I 100% agree.
And it's July's coming up, so we got Christmas in July.
I 100% agree. When we had the house together, we put up our Christmas tree probably a month and a half early because by the holidays you're always traveling. So I don't understand putting up the decorations and you're never home. You're like, we're not really enjoying it.
I don't like doing it for like a month. I understand everyone has their own thing, to each their own. So how you do it at your household, all groovy. But for us, we like to enjoy it.
Right.
Now this is also, we're traveling back and forth from LA and Florida. So it's like, to get it all in order is just too much.
I don't know how you do it with the baby doing that time change and all that. It must be hell. No? The time changes that get to her? Not to you, to her.
Surprisingly, she's used to it. So she's been traveling with us since she was born.
Yeah.
So from 3 months on, which is when we, got back to work, she's been on planes.
Same.
She's used to it. She gets there. She loves hotels.
Yeah.
Like the second she gets to a hotel, she's like, "This is mine." Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So she digs that, and then she's backstage all the shows. There's other babies on tour with us, so
that's
they all
awesome.
get to play. So
yeah.
So we got really lucky.
My kid, he's got the passport already. He's been traveling a lot. He's already got a few stamps. The thing is like, and he's accustomed to first class. He's never sat coach before. I didn't sit first class until I think I was 35 years old.
Yeah,
my kid's been sitting first class since he was born.
We do it each way. We try not to get too accustomed to, a certain way.
All right. And by the way, the hair is on point. I apologize for being late today, but your hair is like, I almost like, it's like really, really good. It's got good flow. It's got volume. Did you just get it done?
It doesn't move.
It doesn't move at all. And are you aging backwards?
I'm in the stage of, when people grow their hair out long and you have that like middle, like
yes.
whatever rocker says. when I get it colored, you need like a month till it grows out and you get the root, and that's when it's money. So right now I'm in that phase. But for you, I was like, yo, I gotta get it going today.
I love I love that era. You know that era when you were like in the late 90s and like with the roots and they're the frosted tips. You remember when you put the cap on? The cap on with the bleach and you pull out the things.
Oh, 100%. When you pull the needle through the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. People who know that know. If you know, you know. And it was always terrible. Mine turned orange. But see, I did it because – did you ever watch Dawson's Creek back in the day?
Yeah. We had a Dawson's Creek themed prom. Junior prom. It was themed Dawson's Creek, and we had to wear the sweat. Everybody had to go shopping at Structure. You had to get the khaki pants with the plaid shirt and the vests. You had to look like Pacey or Dawson.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I did the frosted tips, because Pacey did it.
Yes.
So I saw
feel like
Pacey
I was
do it.
really hitting my puberty stride during Dawson's Creek. Like that's when I was really feeling like. You know, really into girls a lot more, and I was just like falling in love.
Well, I mean, Joey is everybody's crush.
Oh, and
then Jen came around.
Jen
and got
was
a little bit
spicy
on the
one. She was like, she was the bad girl, you know. But the only thing about that show is their fucking vocabulary was really, really high. Do you notice how they talked on that show?
Oh, of course.
Joey talked.
That was the point.
You're like who talks like that in high school?
Nobody. But that was it made you think.
I know. I love
way
Joey
ahead of
so
time.
much.
I learned, you know, the parents, you know, when they had their thing going on.
Yeah.
Dude, you learned a lot about life from that show.
We did. All right, let's get into some stuff here. All right. I miss you, dude. I miss you, dude, by the way, and I love hanging out. You're such a great guy. We'll get into it. Do you all right, you've been in the game, a long time. Would you say the music industry has changed a lot since the early 2000s, which I think I know this answer, but I want to hear your answer.
Obviously,
for good or for worse?
You have to look at the positive and the negatives of anything. So for just like with television or entertainment, you know, there's the good stuff about social media, and obviously, you know, there's the crazy part that can drive you nuts, you know, with all the criticism and being so accessible. But, you know, for musicians, you know, it gives fans, you know, quicker access to, let's say for me, I appreciate like that I could put out a song right now and just go to my Instagram and put out a song. So that's, you know, something that we couldn't do in the 2000s. Like you had to wait a year to get access to music and drop something. So if you had an idea, now you could be like, hey, what do you guys think? Now there's also should people have that much access to artists? I don't know. Like, is that ruin things for some people? Maybe. I don't know.
I didn't think about that. Does it ruin the mystique of it? Like you think? Like, does it ruin the mystery?
It kind of does. I remember, like, you know, it's amazing having access. Like, let's say you can get a cameo from your favorite star. Are you allowed to curse in your show?
Yeah, you can say whatever. I'm a huge fan of Cameo, by the way. But yes, are you a Cameo?
Well, but yeah, like the fact that you can fucking, you know, get your favorite star to send you a message.
Yeah.
Pretty damn cool. But I remember having to send a letter. Like I sent in a letter to Billie Joe Armstrong from Green Day. Obviously, they never got it. But, you know, there was still that mystery of it. It's like not being able to access him kind of made it more of a star and just kind of cooler. But, you know, but then, yeah, I don't know.
They're iconic, there's good, you know. There's like mystique about him, like, oh my God, I'm putting this fan letter. Like, am I going to get something back? Or does he know who I like, yeah, you're right. Now I feel like everybody's so attainable nowadays, like you said. And by the way, I know nothing about criticism on social media. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. That's all I get is criticism.
Well, so for me, like, I've been really lucky. Like, I've never given a shit. Like, I care what my fans think about my music and stuff, but for my personal life, because, you know, I've been on, you know, reality shows before. And luckily when I was on them, as opposed to you, like, we didn't have social media. So I didn't have to read what everybody was thinking. I didn't even watch the shows. I never saw one TV show I was ever on. I heard about it through people. And I was like, wait, that never actually happened. So luckily for me, because obviously they spun it in a certain way to make whatever happened look a certain way. So I was lucky because I didn't see what people were saying about whatever shows I was on. So I don't even know what it was spun, but I remember people coming up to me and be like, dude, why'd you do that? Blah, blah, blah. Why'd you say that? I was like, I did? I was like, wait, that actually didn't happen. We filmed it a couple different ways. So yeah. I wasn't even sure which one they aired. That's how I got to learn about it. So I didn't have to read what people thought. Right. It's like you just did what you did. You were yourself unapologetically, and then you didn't care.
Right.
And now for you, like it's tougher because it's really hard not to to read also. Like my wife like gets on, and she reads all the stuff people say. I'm like, who cares? Everyone's always gonna have opinion. There's always gonna be haters. It is what it is. So I get on her. I'm like, you can't read that shit.
Yeah.
So
it's hard not to, though. Like you'll get like sometimes you'll be sitting on the couch, you'll maybe have a glass of wine, right? And then you'll start scrolling. And then you're like, well, I wonder here. And then next thing you know, you're in a deep dive in comments and you're like, I'm reading a comment from somebody who's got 5 followers and a picture of an egg. Like I tried, like lately I've been really, really good about it. I've been staying off social media just because it's not good for my mental health right now. I'm going through a lot personally and I decided to stay away from it. But I tell you what, when you do go in those deep dives, you need a break.
It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. You need a fucking break.
You need a break.
Too much.
You're right. You're right.
Especially if you care. Like, for people like you, like I know people have their mindset of whatever they think, but you actually care. That's the reason why you're reading it.
Right. Yeah. You know what? That's a good
tough.
point. You do, because people say, oh, I don't care. You do care. And it's like, and stuff that people don't even know who you are judging you off a TV show that like, it's a TV show at the end of the day. And they're like judging you off this.
Entertainment.
It's entertainment, Don't
forget that this is entertainment. Even though reality show, is whatever, it's your lives ish. It's entertainment. That's
what
why
I
you do.
tell
People are like, why the hell would you do this? Why do you put it out there? It's like, no, it's because it's a form of art. It's a creative outlet. To when those cameras are on, the fucking cameras are on.
Yeah,
you do. Like whether you're playing a part, whether you're the villain, you're the good guy, you're the there's always a part that you're playing, and sometimes you give into that, you lean into that on purpose because it's good TV,
right?
And that.
I know, and the thing is too, and I tell people like on these tours, and they're like, why? I go, listen, do you want us to be? If it's boring TV, guess what? The show gets canceled. It's done, and no one's going to watch it. Do you want us to sit around and agree with each other and braid each other's hair all day? Because that's boring. Right. And then if you go crazy on the other side of it, like, oh my God, these people are crazy, they're nuts, I'm not watching. You should kick them off TV. It's like, what do you fucking people want? Do you want entertainment, or do you want us to sit around and do nothing?
Comments.
Like, what do you want for us? Like, you know what I'm saying? It gets really, really frustrating, because you got to find that happy medium. You're like, well, like I can't sit around and just agree, or I can't fight too much because then people have something to say. Everybody's got something to fucking say, and it's so annoying. Just watch the show, and if you don't like it, don't watch. It's very simple.
Exactly. Why do you care? If you like, why are you on my Instagram if you don't like what I'm doing? Like,
why do you need to dive into my life and try to be a therapist and pretend like you know me from a television show that's fucking edited? Are you serious? Like, that's how much time you have in your day? It's just ridiculous. Do you think I'm going to dive in? Do you think well, I'm so jealous because you got to be in reality. And I'm like you, by the way. I don't watch anything that I'm on unless I have to. Sometimes Andy Cohen will get on my ass and be like, Jax, you're doing an interview tomorrow. Watch the fucking episode. And I'll watch like highlights or clips of it. But I just can't stand watching myself on TV. Not because of the shit that I do, which I do a lot of bad shit, but I just don't like watching myself on TV. I don't like the way I sound. I don't like the way I look. I'm just very like insecure.
Yeah, you don't want to. That's why, like, when people are like, they take a picture or something and they're like, "What do you think?" I'm like, doesn't matter. As long as you like it, we're good. Like,
exactly.
I don't want to sit there and be like, how do I look in this photo? Okay, hold on, take that again. I gotta look cooler. It's like, no.
I know. Getting back to your music now, you're on tour. Are you still on tour?
Yeah.
You're heading back out today, right?
We're on year 8 of the Pop 2000 tours, which it started in like 2016. It's me. Now it's evolved and it's just gotten bigger and bigger. It's myself, Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC. It's O-Town, LFO, BB Mac.
Oh my God, all my favorites.
Dude, this year we're doing a show. This is just so that's our tour. That's like our core, Pop 2000 tour, which was only supposed to be one summer. And then people asked for more, and then it turned into 2 years, and now we're on year 9, and we're out for the rest of the year. So, dude, it's fun. And then I'll DJ some of the after parties.
You get jack of all trades, man. Do a little bit of everything. Do you like it now? Like, if you had to go back and say, hey, listen, I like it right now, as opposed to when you started. Obviously, when you started, it was all fresh and fun. Yeah, like, do you like it better? Yeah, I guess the best way of saying. Oh, well, touring now is probably a little different because now you're a father. It's a little different game now. But do you like the world that you're in now, or would you rather go back to the way it was?
No, because I mean, there's just like before I said, like there's pros and cons to each. But the cool thing about now is, which it's the only way to look at it, is because you're in the now. You can't go back to the past. Who cares? So in the now, the cool thing for me is like all those people, bro, that came to, the first tour in 2004, Take It Away 2005, East Town, Washington, they all still coming, which is awesome. But now they're bringing their kids. So you'll have these kids and you get to see their faces, maybe seeing you for the first time, who have no idea. They have no idea who you are. And then you have to earn their love, which is cool and new. So that's fresh. But then, you know, there's also the kids who have gotten into it because of their parents. So you'll see, like, not that we're that old, but we'll see grandparents with their kids with their kid.
Yeah.
And so you'll see like 3 generations of people singing every word. Yeah. And that's nuts to me. You know, to see like a 9-year-old kid singing, you know, all the words to True or On the Way Down, whatever, is that's where I get like my freshness and like joy out of still performing is like seeing, you know, the people that still love it and just want to hear good music. Yeah, you sent me a thing the other day of like what rap music, hip hop used to be.
Am I right or am I wrong?
Kids are listening to. Oh my God. Oh, 100%.
I can't listen to the music today.
Like radio now, like everything kind of sounds the same.
Everything sounds the same. It's so manufactured. And like, I remember growing up, I had my CD case. I'd put my CDs in the car. Usually most of my CDs were.
I got one right now.
Yeah. CDs are the best, man.
I got a CD case in the golf cart.
They're man-made and like they get sticky from the Mountain Dew in the back seat from when school and the sun would hit it and they'd crack together, put it in. But you knew all the words to all your favorite songs. And it was just like.
People are getting into that again. They're starting to understand that. And it's cool. It's like reading the liner notes, like finding out who played on the record, where they did it. Like all that shit's cool.
It is really cool. And like this, going to buy the CDs and the nostalgia. Like
the visor CDs.
Oh yeah, pulled it down. Yeah. What do we got? I put my top.
How many of yours were burnt versus actual CDs? Tell the truth.
It made the transition. I had them all real CDs. Then when that came out burning, it made the transition to all burn CDs. So it was a very slow transition. I had the what was it called? The Case Logic Logic thing, and it held like 100 CDs, and you travel with that thing everywhere, and you would click it over and move it over, and you're like, oh yeah, cool, put it in. You know, Summer Mix '95, love songs, date songs. Oh, it was the best.
Yep. Oh, I was making all the mixes. Mega Booty Mix.
Booty Mix, Summer Mix, like Spring Break Mix.
You had that CD player on your arm, and then you were running it. It would skip.
If you didn't have the yellow Sony, it was the yellow Sony with the
yellow Sony.
You needed that bad boy because if you were running, like you were rocking around, like if you had the yellow Sony, you're like, damn, that guy's cool as fuck. He's got a yellow Sony Walkman. Oh. Like that was the shit to have, the yellow one.
And then when you iPod, you were even more the shit at that point.
Oh yeah, when you got the iPad or the iPod, you're like, whoa, people. That was like, and I still have my CD player, to be honest. My non-skipper, I still got. I collect all that stuff.
Those things are expensive again. So I recently went into like a thrift store and I bought a bunch of old Disney VHSs, and I had an idea to like build Hendrix, who's my daughter, a Blockbuster. Where she could, you know, she checks in, rents a movie, so I'm putting them on the walls, and she has her different VHS tapes. So I bought a bunch of VHS tapes, got a good deal on those. Then I went to buy a VCR player or whatever. Expensive as hell.
Yeah.
Dude, they're so expensive.
I know.
Why? I thought it was like $20. So to build this Blockbuster and to buy more VHSs, it's costing more than if you were like to buy to digitally download a movie. It's like $30 a VHS. I had to buy a VCR player for like $400.
Yeah, and it's to get a decent one.
This Blockbuster is going to cost me a couple $1,000s. This idea has turned into quite the pricey project, but it's still kind of cool.
Remember the Dual? Yeah. Remember the Dual, the VHS with the CD? That was like, whoa, man! You're kind of a cool guy.
Then if you had the Laserdisc, you were really advanced.
There's some incredible TV coming out of the UK right now. Brits just do it differently. The accents, the wit, the scenery, the devastating one-liners disguised as compliments. It's all streaming on BritBox. They have the best mysteries, dramas, comedies, and seriously addicting originals like Outrageous, based on the true story of the Mitford sisters. They were kind of like the Kardashians of the 1930s, wealthy, audacious, chaotic, wildly opinionated, and always making headlines. And chances are you've never heard their story. It's stunning. It's jaw-dropping. It's very British. So check out Outrageous. It could be your next favorite. Don't miss Outrageous, streaming now only on BritBox.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
But I wanted to teach her, like, okay, what's like if she returns it late, there's a little penalty or something. Down the road.
That's so cute. That's fun it's fun doing these things with our kids, like kind of bringing back our nostalgia, bringing back what we like to do. And I feel like the kids get more out of what we used to do than what the new thing is. I feel like kids today, they didn't enjoy the toys like when we did. Like we didn't get toys like because it was a Wednesday. We got toys for like good grades or Easter or Christmas, and we just really enjoyed our stuff. Now kids have Amazon, right? The access is like, "What, Mom, I want this. Mom, I want that." And then by the time Christmas comes around, it's like, "What do you buy these kids? They have everything already."
Yeah, that's what we're kind of figuring out the dynamic. It's hard because it's like, what parent are you going to be? You don't know until you're doing it. You're like, I thought I was going to be like just the always fun, which, we are, and I am, but, there's still like a lot of other stuff that goes into it, obviously.
How do kids appreciate things? Like, you want them to grow up and to appreciate stuff.
Yeah, when you have everything, and that's what I'm trying to,
and then your kids
can't have everything. Yeah. She doesn't understand it yet. So we're like, until she can understand, she's still too young to understand right now. So she kind of gets everything she wants.
Yeah, me too. They can just get whatever they want, especially when they're in school and you see the other kids have it. You're like, well, I got to get my kid that. Like,
yeah, we're not there yet. But man, yeah, I'm worried about that.
School's a whole new thing, especially when you drop them off. You're just like, okay, so I'm supposed to leave my child with these fucking strangers. Like I'm used to have my kid all the time. And now I'm like, okay, here you go. Good luck. Like, it's tough.
What happens?
So, hey, when you're obviously your main one, we don't have to talk about your main one, but what's one of your favorite songs you still love playing live? Is there a good one that you love? Obviously, we don't have, obviously you're true and all the way down, obviously, are your go-tos, and that's one that people love to hear. But is there one that you love to play live?
Right now it's actually fun just to play that whole first album. So last year was the 20th anniversary of Take It All Away, which is wild. And then this year is the 20th anniversary of my second album. So now getting to play just because there's a period where you start playing a bunch of new stuff, and that was like 4 or 5 or whatever, however many years ago, you're playing like a lot of new stuff and, people are digging that, which is cool. But then now because of the nostalgia stuff is like come back so heavy, it's like, oh shit, I forgot. Cause I wrote those songs, 23 years ago or whatever. I forgot these are some good tunes on this album. So just getting to replay like those albums that are 20 something years old. Yeah. And really digging into like the B-sides and not the hits. To Shine On, I just saw the music video for that the other day, and it literally brought me right back to that, to filming it. And we filmed that in Malibu on the PCH, and I remember just feeling it literally brought me back to filming day and the feeling I had because we shut down the PCH on a Saturday for like 4 hours, and literally just cars pissed off, just flicking me off like, fuck you. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. They did it. It wasn't me, whatever. But getting to see that again brought me back. And so now performing Shine On is, I would say, probably my favorite right now. We just brought that back in the catalog.
Do you still have the same excitement as of when you started as of right now? Is it still there? Is it all like...
Dude, it is. I don't know how or why. And it's not like a fake answer that you just have to say that. Like every time I perform, I feel just lucky that I get to perform. And I've never been one of those who's like tired of singing any song. I could sing the same song every fucking night. I still get to sing. Yeah. Like it's such a fucking blessing, Yeah. It's so awesome to get to do that. So I've never taken it for granted. Through albums, you have your highs and your lows, but because of the lows, it makes you really appreciate those highs when you have them. So you never, for me, like I never take any performance for granted. I could lose my voice tomorrow and never perform again. Yep. So that's kind of the mindset that I go into it. We all, this isn't, we're not like guaranteed anything.
Right. Especially,
you know
in
what I'm
this
saying?
industry.
So it's like anything with any part of the industry. Yeah. You cannot have a job tomorrow. And so that's kind of the mindset that I go into. It's like, oh, I got to sing these songs again. It's like, hell no, I get to sing these songs again.
Yeah.
That's what gets me.
I'm the same way with being on TV. And I really, really enjoy being on reality TV, as much as some people don't like me on there, but I really enjoy what I do. I think it's a lot of fun.
I never told you my first experience, me and my wife's, of ever seeing you on TV was, I think it was a show. Were you on a show called The Villains? Was it called The Villains?
Yeah, for 5 minutes.
It was you and like all the you're in the beginning.
I was like,
I didn't know anything about your past other than the few clips that they showed, because when I saw you out there, I was like, I don't know, seems like a nice guy to me. Why is he on Villains? Like he seems like I could also like kind of tell people like just from that, I was like, sometimes I think he puts it on just for entertainment because he's good at what he does and he plays that role. But that was my first experience ever seeing you. So that was kind of my introduction.
Oh God, that show was so, because I come from a background of reality TV, of kind of more like docuseries, and I'm going up against people that are on like challenge type shows, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're kind of one and done shows. And I was up against, I was way, way out of my element. Those guys were so good. They were so good at manipulating.
Yeah,
I thought
that's like Big Brother. You'd be like, I'd be the best at Big Brother.
Yeah. I'm going up against like New York and Johnny Bananas and Johnny Fairplay. These guys are legends, master manipulators. I'm a manipulator, but I'm not as good as these guys. They're really, really good. And I was so naive walking into these guys, and they were in like it's a chess match, and it was just like, God, I was outplayed as soon as I walked in that door. I was outplayed. Yeah, but like I said, I do love doing what I do, and I always thank God so much that I've been doing this now for 14 years, and I'm such a blessing. And it's had a lot of hard times, but it's had a lot of great times too. But I really, really love it. I enjoy it, and it's not enjoying it too much this year, but I'm still blessed to get to do what I do. So get back to you. So. You've toured with some serious legends. If you got any backstage stories that you can share, like what's a backstage story that's relatively PG-13 that you can tell us?
Yeah, usually when people ask for stories, obviously the really good ones you can't.
Well, I mean, you can tell me if you're okay with sharing it.
Like a cool one, because all my friends are always like, "Dude, you got to write a book." I'm like, "Why? The good stuff." I'm not that person to ever, get anybody in trouble and it's not even like we're doing anything bad, but just like the fun ones are for you. Backstage stories. Actually, so because of this arm, I was backstage with a buddy of mine whose dad is Steve Lukather, and he plays with Ringo Starr. And so I went with him. We're backstage, and the Beatles are, everything for me. And so I was sitting there, and Ringo comes up, and he's like, we're just sitting there having dinner. He's like, you mind if I sit down? I'm like, yeah, you can sit right next to me, Ringo. And he's sitting there, and he starts just telling Beatles stories. Like, I don't even ask him because, in my head, I'm like, don't do it. Just let him enjoy dinner. We're all hanging. Like, you want to be like, we're I want one of you.
Right.
I'm not, obviously. But, I'm just hanging. He grabs my arm, this arm right here, and he just goes, I was like, what? Oh, shit. He's going to like, I don't know what he's going to do right now. But I was like embarrassed. I'm like, oh, my God, he's going to think like I'm a huge mark. And he's just like, oh, which one am I? And he's just taking the piss out of it. I'm like, oh, hell. I was like, I don't know. You know which one you are, Ringo. And at that time, I was like, I don't know which one you are right now because I was just so nervous. But then he just started sharing all these Beatles stories and like all these iconic moments of things that happened that he was just letting me know. I'm like, all right. So because of that, like it just turned into like this, all right, tell me all these like stories that nobody knows about Beatles. And backstage stuff too. I mean, there's a lot of story, like Elvis stories that I got to know just from, from my ex and her family and getting close with like the Presley family and stuff. So hearing some of those stories is pretty wild. But yeah, I think the Ringo one, that takes the cake for me. But oh God, so this isn't a backstage, but you want to hear a good story. This reminded me of my ex Riley. So we were in London, and at the time we were hanging out a lot with Beatrice, who's Fergie's daughter, like one of the princesses out there, and they have like their own like bungalows or condos right next to Buckingham Palace. So we were going over to her house to hang, and so we park in Buckingham Palace, kind of cool. And then walk across the street, go to her hang, and I'm hanging there. And then my ex gets there at the time. And so there's a gate, and it's really confusing because they all kind of look the same, all like the royal condos, whatnot. And so it's the middle of the night, had some cocktails, and I can't see very well, but I'm like, okay, I'm looking for my ex, and I run into this kid. It's dark, and he's got red hair, and I look at him, and I'm like, hey man, like, do you know where the front gate is? I'm trying to get my girlfriend. He's like, oh yeah, it's over there, mate, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And I look at him, I'm like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I was like, bro, I don't really do this, like I'm not like one to like stop people or say whatever, but my girlfriend at the time is at the front. She's a huge Harry Potter fan. I was like, it's Ron Weasley. I was like, dude, she's a huge Harry Potter fan. If there's any way you can come with me, surprise her at the gate. And he's like, mate, he's like, who are you here with? And I was like, I'm with my friend Beatrice. I'm going to get my girlfriend. And he's like, that's my cousin. And I was like, oh my God, Beatrice's cousins with Ron Weasley this whole time and never told me with how big of a Harry Potter fan Riley is. He's like, no, he's like, that's my cousin. It was Prince Harry.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
It was Prince Harry.
That's insane.
I mistook Prince Harry for Ron Weasley from Harry Potter.
That is
right in front of his face. And I was like, oh, dude, I turned beet red. I was so embarrassed. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. It's dark. I've been drinking. And he's like, dude, he laughed at it so hard. He's like, bro, he's like, let's go back to B's house. Let's go get Riley, go back to B's house, and ended up coming back with us and hanging all night. So
that's
that
a
was
cool story, man.
That's a PG one.
That's a cool story.
It was a cool story for anybody but me in that moment.
That's a really cool story. Hey, if I guess going back on that, if you is there anybody you would want to collab with right now? Are you into that world of collabing, or is there anybody that you want to collab with?
I've done some in the past, but
how does that work out when you collab with somebody? Does it is there a lot of like, what do you call that? Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you have your input, he's got his input or her input, and you're like, do you guys?
Well, I mean, the first collab was Johnny Resnick from the Goo Goo Dolls. So Johnny produced my first album. And so that was the very, very first collab, and that was it's like a marriage because he produced the whole album. So it's like literally we had to have a counselor in the session every day before our sessions just to get us through the sessions.
Why would you guys butt heads? I mean, artists butt heads. There's a lot of, that's what, everybody, there's artists. They're reason they're artists.
He's an experienced rock star.
Right.
And I'm, this new up and coming, well, not up and coming yet, but, I'm this young kid who thinks he knows everything.
Yeah.
And he's experienced that, but he's never produced before.
Right.
And I'm the artist. So it's like, how do you figure out the fine line of listening to the artist, but then also listening to, someone who's been doing it for 20 something years and has way more hits than anybody. So that was a tough one. But then, I did a collab with Avril Lavigne. Like we did a song together.
Where the hell has she been? Where has she been? Where's Avril Lavigne?
Dude, she's on tour, crushing it, selling out everywhere. She's on the greatest hits tour.
I don't even know. She's on your tour? No.
She's on her own tour. No, she's on her own greatest hits.
I feel like she's went MIA for a while. I mean, she'll be back.
Everyone thinks that it depends if you don't follow them or if you're not
I guess
watching whatever everybody's doing. Everyone says that about so many people. It's like, oh, I used to listen to that. What are they doing? I was like, oh, they've been somebody that came up the other day with about Hanson. A friend asked about Hanson. I'm like, Hanson sells out everywhere they play, and they've been doing it since the day they started. So I'm like, Hanson not going anywhere. They crush every single year.
I'm just so
Avril's
old now.
Crushing.
That's crazy. I said the same thing about the Cranberries the other day. I was like, where did the Cranberries go? I was listening to a song. I guess I listened to 90s on 9 and 80s on 8. What happened to the Cranberries? Just stuff like that. I'm always like, what happened to these people? They fall off the earth? I'm like, where do they go?
Tough to believe Domino's has never had stuffed crust pizza until now, right? Well, it's here. And it's delicious. It's stuffed with melty cheese, baked with melty cheese, and sprinkled with garlic seasoning and real Parmesan. Yep, that's even more cheese. Order Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza for $10.99 each when you mix and match 2 or more items. Price is higher for some locations. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Delivery orders subject to local store's delivery charge. 2-item minimum. For additional terms and conditions, visit Domino's.com.
Yeah, well, luckily for me, I'm on tour so much, so I'll see what city we're playing. I'll see all these other bands and be like, oh, Jet, it was an old label mate, who you know who they are, but you probably know the song. But anyway, I was like, oh, they're still on tour. I'll see whatever. And I'm like, oh, you guys are on tour. So we cross paths, all that kind of stuff.
What?
But collabs-wise, who would it be? For me, the dream is Dave Matthews. That's always been the dream.
I'm a huge Carter fan. I love the drummer from Dave Matthews. I used to go to going to Dave Matthews bands back in the day, all decked out in Abercrombie, and with my hair all gelled and spiked, with my shell necklace on, ready to go to Dave Matthews with your hot girl.
Got your depated. Got your clogs on.
You know what?
That's always been the dream.
Dave Matthews is probably my favorite band of all time. I would say my favorite band of all time, and just never gets old. I constantly play it till this day.
Especially live. And for those at home who are like, I don't really, I can't dig it, go to a show.
Go to a show.
When you go see him live. Even if you don't like his music, you're like, I don't like any of his music. It's not my thing. You go to a show by song 2. You're like, I get it.
Go to the show in Colorado at Red Rocks. That was amazing. It was like, just because the way the sound is in that whole stadium.
You were there? You went to that?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
You went to one of those?
Yeah, it was.
Was it Dave and Tim or just Dave? The band?
I was so young. I think it was just Dave. It was just Dave. It was so long ago, but it was so much fun. It was a trip and took all my money. I took all my money to save up for that, but it was so worth it. It was so worth it. I went with a buddy of mine. But yeah, there's nothing like Dave Matthews. I don't care what anybody said. He's a little cuckoo when you listen to him in interviews, but his music is amazing.
In the best way.
Yeah.
In the best way. Cuckoo in the best way. I'd expect nothing less.
Yeah, he's amazing. So, hey, was there ever a tabloid rumor back in the day that was made up that was just so far-fetched that you could tell us?
Usually there was some, I don't even remember who it was, but there was some about like who you're dating. You know, you'll be like, oh, he's dating. And my mom would call me and be like, you didn't tell me that you were dating. Oh. Yeah. I'm like, what? Yeah. I was like, no. Which is funny, too, because actually, so the way me and my wife got together, I don't know if you know this, but it was because of a rumor.
Well,
somebody online started a rumor.
I was going to ask you that like further down the line, but I guess you want to get in. Yeah. So I guess the tabloid, the one that sticks in your head though is basically your dating ones, right? Those are the ones that really pop out the most of who you're dating. So I was going to get to that in a minute, but I need to. We'll get to that in a second. Let's get to that. You explained. You think the music industry has gotten worse or better? Real quick, better or worse? Music industry.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for the artist, worse. For the artist, worse. Yeah, because Spotify. Listen, it's great for everybody to have access to songs in 2 seconds, but we don't see any of that. You know,
that's so unfair.
In order to make money, selling, you're obviously not selling records. So, people will be like, well, get creative, make a vinyl, do all. It's like, you shouldn't have to, because in order to make an album, it costs a lot of money.
Right.
So in order to keep doing that, if people want it, they have to spend like, well, I spend, I buy a membership on Spotify, but artists don't get that.
They don't. So you don't get anything. You don't get a dime. That's insane.
No,
so how do these companies
got hundreds of millions of listens? I haven't seen a dog.
So why do these artists and these companies why do they well we're not going to make any money? Let's go on. How is that allowed? How is there not like some kind of fight for the music rights or the artist rights?
I don't think they knew how to. It happened so fast that they didn't know how to do it. So they just go, all right, well, we have to. So this is the new norm, and this is how people are finding music. We have to at least get on those playlists and play ball, or else whatever, you're just going to die.
So it's really,
trying.
It's really hard for a new artist right now, you're established, but a new artist right now coming out, it's really, really hard to make money. It's really hard not even to make money, to get noticed.
So there's the benefit. There's the benefit of having an online, platform.
Right.
So through things like, what Vivo or YouTube and obviously all those, you have those channels and you're getting a lot of hits. Those pay out pretty well. You get your monthlies, stuff like that.
Okay.
So in that sense, if you're a new artist, usually people are finding you because you have a lot of numbers, probably from socials. And obviously, there's ways to monetize that a lot better than it is for musicians on Spotify.
So basically like YouTube for these new artists, right? That's kind of like the minor leagues, right? Then when you do well on that, then the big record labels find you after that. They say, wow, this guy's got a gazillion followers.
At that point,
they find you, right?
At that point, you don't need it. You don't need it.
So how do these record labels stay in business?
Why are you going to pay? Why are you going to take money from a label that you just have to pay back or somehow recoup? When that's where there's the benefit of having stuff like that.
So what's the point of having a record label then? How are they in business?
It just depends, because do you want to be on the radio? A lot of you don't have to have it to be on the radio, because a lot of indie labels, are getting a lot of radio placement and stuff. It's different than it used to be, but it's I don't know, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough business. Well, that's why touring is so vital. If you can tour, right, you'll be good. Or if you have a big online presence, that's never really been my thing, but we toured nonstop.
Yeah. I mean, you managed to stay pretty grounded, through the fame and the ups and downs in this industry. Do you think it's because you are already in your late teens and early 20s when things really took off? I always say this.
I always told myself I had good people around me.
You had good people. I mean, because, we've seen music icons like Britney Spears, Justin Bieber, Liam Payne rise to fame so young. And it's just so sad how the pressure and the lack of privacy really took a toll, on their mental health. I mean, look what's going on with Justin Bieber right now. Like it really, I mean, people are just digging into his life and his finances and all that. I mean, do you think the age, or maybe like the support system played a role in helping you navigate, all this differently?
Dude, I don't know. It's just so hard because everybody's so different.
Yeah.
People are so different. It's so easy to be like, well, I do it this way, so why don't you do it this way? It's like, I don't know. Our brains are wired different.
Right.
Everybody is so different from the other. So for me, I was lucky that, I always had good people. I always kept my core friends,
right.
Around me. Like, so I never like bought into the, I'm gonna
the rock and roll.
I need to like all that shit. Like it was always my buddies always lived at every house I lived in. All my buddies lived with me, and I just get good people that didn't ever. No ass kissers. Nobody that fucking kissed my ass. Yeah. Nobody that that I was any different than anybody else in that time period. When even at our craziest, just played sold out Madison Square Garden. You're going back to your boys who are giving your shit, or tell you how it is, and that is really important. Nobody that'll be like, oh, you're so good, your shit don't stink. Like, you can't have any of those people around. That's where it gets tough.
Yeah.
And people will be like, oh, Los Angeles is really hard because, there's so many people but it's like, well, you don't have to have them around. LA can eat you up, spit you out. That, but you don't have to have those people around. Like you're allowing those people in your life. Like don't those toxic people, like just keep them away. And that's right. It's easier said than done.
Yes.
Obviously, yes. I know. But like I did a good job of navigating that, and I can't judge anybody else who goes down a different path because I don't know what's going on in their brain.
Right.
Like I said,
they gravitate towards you. You get toxic people, and you don't meet like. I'm a nice person. They gravitate towards whatever you're doing, and they kind of. I'm not saying they're leeches, but they just gravitate and kiss your ass and be like, you have all these people around you, just kind of, what? How did they get here?
The bottle suckers. I remember back in the day when I was going out and like ordering bottles, it was always that guy that would come by, pour off your bottle, and then just walk away. They'd be like, "Oh, what's up, bro? Good to see you." Yeah. I watch him pour off my bottle, then walk away like, "What's up?" My
podcast is a lot on mental health and addiction and all that. Mm-hmm. Did you ever, in your whole years, have an issue with alcohol or substance or anything? Did that ever come into play at all? Did you ever have to check it? Did you ever be like, okay, things are getting a little out of hand, I need to take it back a little bit? Was there ever any issues with that with you?
I mean, nothing that really was crazy, disruptive, or like, things. I mean, I was fortunate enough to where, but on the road, like when we were on tour, like we were partying every single night. Yeah. Now, we're in our 20s and I can't do that anymore. But there was a moment, and obviously, having a kid will do that to you. Right. But there was a moment before that where, had some health stuff going on. I'm like, maybe I need to rethink, the craziness and staying out till 2 a.m. So, and obviously when you turn 40, that'll do it to you too.
You can't. But
there's a moment where you just go, dude, I can't continue like this, or else, I'm gonna be fucking. I don't want to be dead soon.
Exactly.
So you know what I mean?
I'm obviously, I don't know. I'm dealing with that right now. And I took it a little longer than it took me a little bit longer to figure out than most people, just because my brain works differently than other people, and I dove into alcohol and drugs, and it got really, really out of hand where it like literally it ripped apart my life. And, thank God I'm here today, and, I got the help that I needed to get, but I destroyed so much along the way. Friendships, my marriage and everything like that. Thank God my son is young enough not to know what's going on, and thank God I got a hold of it before he did. But yeah, it can get to you, whether you're in music, whether you're in acting, reality TV, whatever. When you're living this lifestyle, the lifestyle that we have, you have to be so strong. And I was very, very weak when it came to alcohol and drugs. I'm like, because again, you have all this popularity and everybody's around you and everybody's, stroking your ego. Everyone's telling you you're great and you're this and that. And, hey, Jax, try this, or hey, let's drink this, or let's go do this. And you're not even thinking. You're just in all the commotion. Next thing you know, it's the norm. Like when it's not happening, you're like, wait a minute, I want to go back to the drinking and the partying, right?
Yeah. Well, that's when you know it's a problem. It's like if it becomes norm, that's when you're like, oh shit. But hey, I got no judgment for anybody. So the step, obviously, the hardest part for someone in that world or we're in the entertainment business, because this stuff happens everywhere. But like the hardest part is just going, oh shit, I do have a problem.
Yeah, that was the hardest thing for me. I'm the one. No, I didn't even know I had a problem. I had to have other people tell me that I had the problem. I'm like, I don't have a problem. You got a fucking problem. I'm fine. I was like, as long as my finances are fine, my friendships are fine, my marriage is fine, whatever. Then leave me alone. Leave me alone. Like I'm not hurting.
You realize it's not fine until sometimes it's too late, and you're like, oh shit.
Well, then my marriage started to go. Then my friends started to go. I'm like, okay. Then I was like, well, that's fine. My finances are fine, so let's just keep going. And like, it took such a toll. And when you're so in deep, I was so in deep with it, like I was. It's so hard to get out. Like you're just like, I don't know a way out, and I'm scared to be out of it. Am I going to be the same person when I'm not using? Am I going to be the same human being? And it was tough for me to go out. Like I'm grateful for my friends and my ex-wife to put me in a home.
I don't think you realize like that, and I'm sure it's tough for a lot of people. Like when we had lunch that day, you were like, dude, because I'm sober now. You're like, dude, I feel like I get anxiety or pressure because I feel like I'm not the fun guy. But it's like you don't realize that when you're not doing those things, you're actually more fun, and you are entertained, and like that was a great lunch. And dude, I was like, you don't even realize like how you're more yourself, because we always think like we're more fun and loose when you're drinking and you have it, whatever. But you're actually more yourself when you're not, at least, especially you. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? You're a blast.
I get anxiety.
You had it as a crutch, like
that's what alcohol is. It's a crutch, and it gave me that kind of that power, that superpower to be a good, funny person, not a good person, to be a funny person, to be entertaining. And I felt like now at my age, stepping back from all that, I have to relearn how to be social. I have to put myself in situations where I'm uncomfortable.
Isn't that crazy? That's such a weird thing because I wonder I don't know if it's like just experience over time that it does that to your head, because when you're in your 20s, you don't even think about that.
No, none.
You just were.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden you find yourself going out and you're like, am I being awkward? Am I entertaining enough? Am I talking enough? I think maybe part of it was just like, we didn't think about it when we were in our 20s. We didn't care. And now we're just thinking too much.
And then again, you hit a certain age.
I need a drink so I can be fun. It's like, we never thought that way back in the day.
And it's not it's not cool and fun when you're our age. It's just not. It's like,
Well, if you go back and see videos of yourself and like hear how you were talking and all this stuff, you go, ooh, yeah. It's easier just to black out and not think that never happened.
That's why I don't watch myself on TV. That's 90% of the reason I don't watch myself, because I was fucking drunk.
Oh, you guys partying? You guys party on TV, right?
Yes, we fucking party on TV. Yeah, of course. I was drinking, I just did it. I did it behind everyone's back. I didn't tell anybody. I just do it and drink whenever. I thought I was more entertaining when I was drunk. That's what my mentality. And, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep it going. But anyway, enough about that. So let's get into being a dad. So you're a dad now. You love being a dad? This is your favorite thing ever?
Oh, dude, I've waited my whole life to be a dad. It's the best.
You not only your father.
Obviously, it's a lot of work. That first year's, whew.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because you're getting adjusted to it. You're figuring it out, like what to do. Like you're scared. Now you're just
I didn't sleep before.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like, dude, I thought I didn't sleep before because I've never been able to sleep well. I was like, no, I had no idea.
Yeah.
But then now comes the fun part. She's got a personality and dude, she's like the sweet. I like my heart is full because she's so happy. Yeah. She wakes up happy, and like there's nothing better than that in the world. And like getting to relive like the joy and youthfulness of discovering things for the first time is, I'm sure every parent knows, is like, there's no words that could ever explain what that's like.
They're at a fun age right now where you wake up and you're like, "Ooh, that's new," or "That's new. I haven't seen that before." Or "That's cool." Or I'll call Brittany and be like, "Did you know he's doing this now?" Or "Did you know he's doing this?" Or like, "Did you see him do that?" Yeah, it's crazy. Or you go to school.
That's what stuff about leaving for tours. Like you go away for a weekend and you come back and all this stuff is happening. You're like, how did I miss that?
Yeah, and it gets.
I'm trying to be in that. Dude, the hardest part for me is trying to enjoy the stage that she's in right now, because, you're always looking towards, I can't wait till she says this, or I can't wait till she does this, and I can't wait till this. And it's like, you know what? Reminding myself of like, no. Enjoy this stage because they'll never be in this stage again. So that for me is like my focus as dad right now, is just enjoying exactly where we are, the exact age she is. She's 18 months. And, just appreciating that.
So I want to wrap up because I know you got a lot going on, but, marriage, obviously, I've met Alexa. She's absolutely amazing. She's beautiful. And I can't believe she was when I met her, I was like, oh my God, she's a wrestler. I don't know. Anyway, so marriage is really tough, right? Especially when you're in the public eye and then throwing kids into the mix and that adds a whole new layer. How do you and Alexa stay connected and grounded through all of it? Like, how do you guys stay connected? And then are there any boundaries? And because it's kind of like a 3-parter, like, is there anything that you do both to protect your relationship from the outside noise?
Dude,
it's a 3-parter.
Loaded question.
Yeah,
it's so crazy because you always think, like it's not you guys. You like you see the stuff online, like all the memes or whatever, the things about married couples when they have kids, and you're like, but not us. Like that's not going to be us. We're going to do this, and then when you have that kid, it's like, oh shit, did that just become us? Are we doing those things? Like, how do we, not become, go through all the things that everyone's like, make sure you don't go through this because this will happen. And it's just natural. But like last night was the first night that we got to do date night in weeks because of, we don't have a nanny, we don't have, so babysitters sometimes, whatever, don't work out. So we realized, we're like, oh my God, we finally get to do date night again. It's like, okay, we need to prioritize that and make that a thing. It's so easy to be like, all right, we're not going to let the kid take over our lives. But then it starts to happen, and we're now kind of in that stage where we're hitting a groove of like, okay, we got this. We're figuring out what to do here, and here. Let's get back to us, enjoying us and laughing again, and not taking everything so seriously. We're super responsible, but at the same time, you need to, let loose a little bit as well, and remember like who you were before you had the kid. So, dude, that's hard.
It's very hard. I believe it or not, people ask me like, how do you do it, or what do you do to complete? I don't know why people ask me this. How to keep your marriage alive? And the things that I didn't do was the date nights. The date nights, we messed that up. We didn't go on date nights. We weren't a priority anymore. Once that baby came, it was all about that baby. And I feel like we were wrestling. We were a tag team wrestling team. I would tag in, she would tag out. That was it. And we kind of forgot about us, and we forgot about the spark, and then the craziness of having a kid, and the anxiety and the stress and the lack of sleep. And the next thing you know, you're taking it out on each other. And that's what happened to us. And the fact that you guys seem like you're so on the same page and like, check yourself.
We're holding each other accountable. Yeah. We're like, she was yesterday morning, was like, hey, we haven't done date night. And I was like, you're right, we haven't. That is a priority. Let's do that. So, made some calls, did some things, and we went out and had a great time. And then, it's like, okay, we'll constantly, the gifts that we get each other are always things that are for us to bring each other closer and keep each other, things for each other, versus like, hey, here's a purse. Hey, right, here's some hair gel, whatever, things, not those things. It's always things like for us as a couple. So that's kind of cool, things that we do. But yeah, just like everybody else, we have our things, but we're now like, we're hitting that groove. It takes some time. And, but yeah, like you said, those date nights.
The date nights are important. I wish I would have, maybe done, obviously therapy, when things get a little rough, you go to therapy or you talk. You never go to bed angry. And if you go to bed angry, don't wake up angry. Things like that you got to keep in mind. Who's the most, who's more romantic between the two of you or her?
Probably me.
Yeah. Are you romantical?
So my head is always thinking creatively, like in ways of like, oh, I can plan this, and I'm going to set this up, and then I'll have this going, and then she's going to love this, and I'm going to put coffee by the bed in the morning when she wakes up. That's just kind of always, and then when we met, like she was very guarded. Yeah. She had been through some things in her past relationship, so it was hard for her to trust me for a while because she didn't understand like, why are you really this nice? what's going on? And I'm like, no. I just, love you. And like, I want to do nice things for you. So I would say probably me.
I envy you. That's so sweet. I'm like, you're so emotional about this. What's something from the early 2000s you low key miss?
Oh, early 2000s that I would say the music.
Yeah.
Like we said, like the music. Like you can't make the music. Or, there's certain, but now we're privy to, shows like the OC and, Dawson's Creek, like the, entertainment, we'll say.
Would you ever do a reality show?
Again? Probably not.
No.
I've already done it. I've been there because it's changed so much. Dude, even from the first show, from the Ashley Simpson show to The Hills, two completely different worlds. I didn't know that was even possible, but it's completely different. Like one show, they followed us around with cameras, and that was it. The other show was like people telling you what to say and talk about people that you don't even know.
Did you like The Hills? How did you like doing The Hills?
No, it was terrible. No, it was terrible.
Did you?
It was.
Are you following?
Well, I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be a good boyfriend. Me and Audrina actually were dating in real life outside of that, but the things that happened on that show were not real. We had to film things every which way. We do a scene where she'd break up with me, then we do a scene where I break up with her. We do a scene where I didn't show up to the door like upset enough, and we do a scene where I show up to the door happy.
So you never knew. You never knew what was going to happen, what they were going to air. You filmed a scene 4 different ways, and they micromanaged the shit out of that. So wait,
I was trying to be a supportive boyfriend at the time, and I had no idea what it was into. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's all entertainment. So
right, it is all entertainment. I get it, but our show, The Valley in Vanderpump Rules, is not like that at all. They never like, let's film it this way, let's film it that way. That would never ever happen. They just turn our shows, literally they show up, turn the cameras on, and it is what it is. They don't redo anything.
Okay,
because
so I like that better. That I appreciate.
Well, I didn't know this about The Hills, that they do that. I didn't know they shot a different, and then you never know what the fuck you're gonna get. And then you were like, if you get somebody yelling at you about a scene where you're like, that's fucking not real. We shot that 4 different times, and just so happens the editors wanted it that way. That's insane.
Bro, we had to do ADR in a studio. It was like voiceovers in a studio with lines.
You did voiceovers in reality TV.
They'd have lines that you would say they would say them when like the camera was like to the back of your head. So that was how they like kind of changed the narrative or like move the storyline along, which I understand as a producer.
That's not reality TV. You might as well call it a soap opera.
Not at all.
It's a soap opera.
But it's entertainment.
It is entertainment. It's not. But you got to use the word reality TV a little bit looser because it's technically not reality TV.
That's everybody knew that.
Soft scripted.
I didn't know that you guys just filmed. I didn't know that was the thing.
No, yeah, we just filmed. That's why people were like, "Is this real?" Fuck yeah, it's real. We did the camera guys show up, and it is what it is. I'm shocked. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't know this, but that's the most micromanaged, soft scripted show I've ever seen in my life. I'm shocked. And is all the cast, are they really open about talking about that now? The ones that you talk, like they're open about talking about anything on that show now, right? It's so over. Who cares?
Maybe. I mean, I would assume.
Yeah.
Probably at some point, somebody on that show is talking about it. It's like,
I think Kristen Cavallari is right now.
Huh?
I think Kristen Cavallari is on tour right now. She's kind of giving all the goods. I know I see her with some of the people on the cast doing, she's on stage with some of them, but that's just so bizarre. Do you keep in contact with anybody from that show?
From that show, I mean, me and Audrina are still friendly. So like, not like all the time, but every once in a great while, something happens, in their lives. Like, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or she'll say, when we got married, like, congrats, like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it up for that show. I mean, it was such a popular show, and it was like breaking ground for what we have today. It was kind of like the first, I don't want to say first true reality show, but that was the one that people just really sunk into, our demographic, I think, our age range. Yeah. And I think
right before that. Well, the Newlyweds, which I was around.
Yeah,
Newlyweds, for the Osbournes, Newlyweds, Ashley Simpson show, then Laguna Beach.
Laguna Beach was kind of like, don't get me wrong, those were good too. But I mean, Laguna Beach was like, God, you felt like you were living with them because it was like the school and the drama and the high, like it was just a little bit more. I feel like that was a little bit more true. Yeah, the other ones, Ashley Simpson, one of those were good too.
I never saw them, but that's why I just figured.
Oh God, I lived the Laguna Beach. Like I didn't realize. God, it's like ruining Hollywood for me. I didn't know it was that so scripted. I'm so bummed. What new? Are you working on any new projects right now that you want to tell anybody about?
No, just on the tour, and then putting out some new versions of different songs this year. You got to come out.
I know. When you hit a city that's closer to a little bit LA, I want to shoot out. Obviously, I got a kid, but
we're out in Garden Grove in October. I'll hit you up.
I was telling Buku about that. Danny Buku, who's on the Valley. I know you're friends with him. Your new neighbor now. I was telling him, like, man, we got to head out to a show.
Street over.
I can't believe that.
Over.
I got to come to one of your poker games too. I will be there at the next one for sure.
Cabrera, Santa Clarita Life.
All right. Hey, I know you're rushing on time, so I'm going to be one last thing here. So what's a piece of advice you'd give these younger kids that are making it big in music, the industry today, knowing what you know now from experience?
Oh, big advice for kids now. My advice always is just to enjoy it while you have it. Like I said, we're not guaranteed anything. So if I could tell my younger self at that time, it's like the things, it's like be in that moment and enjoy it. Stop looking towards the future and what's going to happen next. Now, obviously you got to plan whatever, but when you're doing something in that moment, when you have that show, when you're on whatever, when you're making that album, really remind yourself to be in that moment at the time and enjoy it.
I forget that sometimes too. Is there somebody that
always looking for what's next? It's like, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's tomorrow? What's about? It's like, you forget about today. What's happening right now?
One of my biggest problems is that right there. I'm always looking for what's next. I'm never enjoying right now, the moment. And life is so short, so short. We're here for a good time, not a long time. So I always say that enjoy every minute of everything you do. And
you'll never be in that moment again. You only have that moment while you have it. You'll never do that again.
Is there somebody right now? I keep cutting you off. I'm so bad. Is there somebody in the music industry right now that you're like, wow, I like this guy or I like this girl? Is there somebody right now that you would tune on and listen to? Is there somebody?
You?
Yeah. Is there somebody new right now that you like? And I'm
choosing an artist called Knox. It's Knox.
Yeah.
Who me and my wife are obsessed with.
Yeah.
He started out as he was a songwriter. He just wanted to write songs for other people, and then they were like, dude, you're too good. So I think he's going to be on he's already doing really, really well. Obviously, he's crushing it. But I think more people are going to start to eventually know that cat. He's, if you like the pop punk kind of thing, but they're just great songs.
Do you want to tell me where your next stops are on your tour?
We're in the Northeast. We go to Northeast. We're doing New Hampshire, everywhere, anywhere, the Northeast, Midwest, West Coast. We're all over the place. We're on tour. So pop2000tour.com for the rest of the year. It's going to be a fun one.
I know. I'm going to have to hit it up, man. I know you're in a rush right now. And thank you so much for coming on, man. I love talking to you. I didn't get too much into your beautiful wife, and please tell her hi for me. I got to get into her wrestling story one time. We'll have her back on. But thanks again, man, so much for stopping by. Enjoy that beautiful baby of yours, and hopefully I'll see you soon. If not, I got to get to one of your poker games. But I'll see you later, buddy. Let's keep in touch. And thank you so much for coming on, man. Have a good one.
Thank you for having me, bro.
No problem. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week on In the Mind of Jax Taylor. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.